To all my we, the people in the house. You see the topic, the DBA, because some people are really getting confused and a lot of people are missing steps. So, what are the benefits to DBA, to create a filing of your DBA in the name of the trust? Well, using the DBA, and DBA stands for doing business as, under your trust in whatever state you open it up in, but it has to be a trust state, can provide several practical and legal benefits, especially if you're operating business activities through the trust rather than in your personal name. Here are the main advantages, my people. Number one, it allows the trust to operate under a business name, a DBA called a fictitious name in certain states. Lets the trust legally conduct business under a name different from the trust's official legal name. So, your legal entity can be your trust name, whatever the name your trust is, but the DBA can be the abbreviation of your trust, like the initials, financial services, or something along those lines. It's up to you what you want to DBA in the name of your trust. This allows the trust to sign contracts, advertise, invoice under the DBA name while the trust remains the legal owner. Number two, banking and merchant accounts. Banks often require a DBA if the business name is different from the trust name. Benefits include opening business bank accounts under the DBA, accepting checks made out to the DBA, setting up merchant accounts, payment processors, running online businesses. Example, the account name could be your trust name, and then DBA could be, you know, TW Holdings. Number three, privacy and separation. Using a DBA helps separate public facing operations from the trust structure. Instead of publicly using the full trust name, customers see the DBA. Public brand. So your public brand may be TW Capital. That's the DBA for the trust name. Underlining entity, your trust name, whatever your trust name is. This adds a layer of privacy to the trust. Now, number four, multiple businesses under one trust. A single trust can register multiple DBAs. So, for example, you may have your Living Estate Express Trust that can operate as TW Financial, RS Property Management, TW Holdings, TW Publishing. Each DBA can represent a different business line. Number five, asset protection structure. If the trust owns the business, profits flow into the trust rather than to you personally. Possible structure, trust equals the DBA business name equals the bank account revenue. This can help with asset management, estate planning, business continuity. Now, number six, low cost and simple filing in certain states. So you would have to find a state where it's the lowest to DBA in your trust name, filed through whatever state you're going to use. So some states it's like $50 to file your trust in. You can do a fictitious name registration. Requirements, you can publish notice once in a newspaper about your trust, file online or by mail. Number 7, helps with contracts and branding. Instead of signing contracts under a long trust name, you can sign, example, TW Capital, DBA, whatever your trust name is. This looks more professional for real estate, consulting, investment services, and publishing. So, examples for structure for you or for anybody else: the trust, which is the trust name, and your possible DBAs can be TW Capital, TW Treasury, TW Holdings, TW Publishing for, other things. Now, important notes is that a DBA does not create a new legal entity. It only creates a trade name for the trust so that you can do business in the trust name instead of your personal name, which takes all liability off your personal name. The trust remains legally responsible, so the trust can pay off debts and everything. The trust takes care of everything, buys you your clothes, your food, everything. So if anybody needs help out there with the trust, we call us up 407-300-5377, and we can help you to register and DBA a trust in at a very inexpensive price if you're having financial difficulty setting up your trust, because in certain states a trust is a lot of money to set up. But we have found states where trusts are very inexpensive to set up. Now we can show you how to register a DBA. We can help you show you structure on how to have multiple DBAs under your trust. We can help you open up the bank accounts with your DBA trust. And we can also set up the merchant processing payments for your DBA for your trust. So just, give us a holler, 407-300-5377. We can help you administrate and set up that trust in the way that you need to set it up in a very inexpensive way. Because, trust and estate planning can become very expensive. So, there's a lot of ways that you can get around this project. Hi, everybody in the chat. Hi, Lisa Watkins. Hi, Kitty647. Hi, Mia 5 Clouds. How y'all doing out there? What's happening is the trust. We're talking about setting up your trust and filing it as a DBA so that you can do business as your trust instead of doing business in your personal name. So we want to take away the liability from our personal name and just let's do business in the name of the trust. That's what we're talking about right now. So if y'all got any questions out there, throw some questions up in the chat. And, give me some ones out there. Thank you for the ones. Thank you for the twos. For real. Thank y'all. What's going on? So peace to all my people in the private chat. So, the legal difference between minor, infant, and ward under New York state law, if you're in New York and you're trying to open up a trust, New York is not a trust state. So you would have to find another state to DBA trust name in. So that's where a lot of people are getting confused because they think, oh, I can just go set up my trust. You can't set up a trust or an estate in New York. So heads up, there are 4 factors that you need. The 4 factors are: you have to set up your estate, DBA in your estate, DBA in your executor, DBA in your trustee, and DBA in your trust. So those are the 4 elements that you need to take the liability off the straw man's name, your personal name, the corporation name that was set up under the birth certificate. So, my people, There is a such thing as an age of majority in estate and trust law. And under the estate's powers and trust law, a beneficiary usually must reach the age of 18 to directly control inherited property unless the trust specifies another age, such as 21, 25, or 30. So, you know, you have to start to study trust law. So, basically, it's EPTL Article 7, Trust Creation and Administration. Then there's a EPTL Article 11, Trustee Powers. And there's a SCPA Article 21, Estate Property Recovery. So if you need help with that, give us a holler, 407-300-5377, and we can show you 3 very powerful New York State statutes that many trustees overlook that deal with trust property protection, creditors and trust assets, and how trustees assert control over property. Now, you see, why these laws matter for trustees, my people. Under the EPTL and SCPA, a trustee must act as a fiduciary, protect trust assets, act in the best interest of beneficiaries, keep records of transactions. Failure to do so can lead to court supervision or removal. So you have to do your trust minutes, and you can file your trust minutes through the UCC to make it public on a public record. So the county clerk records documents such as deeds, affidavits, certificate of trust, notices. Your certificate of trust recording is normally done with the county clerk, not surrogate court. But there's certain steps you're going to have to take to get a certificate of trust at the county clerk. It has to be recorded with a DBA someplace in another state if you're in New York. So, we can help you with that. Surrogate courts handles probate, estates, trust disputes. So, the EPTL 11-1.1 lists the powers of fiduciaries, including trustees. These powers include holding property, investing assets, selling trust property, managing accounts, and bringing legal claims. So, EPTL 7-1.1 defines what a trust is: a fiduciary relationship with respect to property held by one person for the benefit of another. Okay? And the key trust law sections very important. EPTL 7-1.17. This section explains how a valid trust must be executed. Requirements include written document signed by the creator, settlor, or the founder, because you can be the creator is also a founder. Signed by at least one trustee, proper acknowledgement, or notarization. So, my people, you see, there's a lot of things that you have to do to set up properly. So, the key areas that's covered is probate of wills. You need a will. Administration of estates. You need an estate. Appointment of executors and administrators. You have to be the executor. Guardianships. You have to be the guardian, the conservator, and the custodian, because you want custody of everything. Trust accountings. Fiduciary duties in court proceedings. So important sections often used are SCPA 1402, probate jurisdiction, gives surrogate court authority to admit wills to probate. SCPA 702, qualification of fiduciaries, explains who can serve as executor or administrator. SCPA 2103, discovery of property, allows a fiduciary to recover property belonging to an estate. SCPA 2205, accounting proceedings, allows the court to require fiduciaries to account for assets. So, you know, you have to, the EPTL governs the substance of estate and trust law in New York. This law explains how trusts are created, how property transfers at death, rights of beneficiaries, fiduciary powers. So it's a lot that you are going to have to do to set your trust up, but you need to DBA the trust in. That's the first and foremost thing. You need a DBA of your trust name. Once you have the DBA of your trust name, now you can go and start to do business. Okay? So my people, 407-300-5377 for trust administration. If you need help setting up that trust, you're running into some, blockages, give us a call and we can help you get that trust DBA'd in. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to DBA in your trust to do business, to transfer property into the trust. The trust has to have a DBA on file to even transfer property into the trust. And you transfer property into the trust through the UCC online. So if you need help with that, 407-300-5377. Big up to all my people out there. Big up to Mia 5 Clouds. Big up. Y'all could drop some, something into the chat there. Let me talk to you. So my people, we about to get up out of here because I done gave you enough information that, should help you tremendously. 407-300-5377, Trust Administration. This has been another public announcement from the United States, private enterprise free state. Stay up, my people. Stay one, stay strong, and we are out.